Good morning, everyone. Wayne, thank you so much. That was wonderful. My name is Sandy Lucidi. I'm your platform assistant for today. Very excited to introduce our very own Reverend Karen Gray with her talk, When a Spring Chicken Becomes the Autumn Kind. I'm excited to hear that. And we welcome back our wonderful musician, Wayne Wilentz. And let us just take a moment to turn within. Divine presence, source of all life, love, and wisdom. We pause now to remember the truth of who we are. Eternal beings, forever unfolding, forever becoming. We give thanks for every season of life, for beginnings and midpoints, for growth and change, and for this rich season of experience and meaning. As we gather today, we affirm that nothing in us is diminishing. Our wisdom is ripening. Our understanding is deepening. Our spiritual authority is strengthening. Open our hearts and minds to see aging not as loss, but as a sacred harvest, a gathering of insight, compassion, and truth, cultivated through years of living and loving. May the words spoken today awaken reverence for the beauty, power, and purpose present in every stage of life. We rest in gratitude, knowing all is good, all is unfolding perfectly. And so it is. Amen.
Don't you be afraid to swing it too. If you feel the rhythm, what you gonna do? You'll be the king of everything. One is never too old to swing. Don't you be shy, fraidy cat. If you're over 50, that's a killer jack. You'll be the king of everything. One is never too old to swing. Let me tell you about my mom and pop. They do the boogie woogie round the clock. They turn the radio way low down so the neighbors won't hear them going to town. Get out in the groove and send yourself. If you gotta worry, put it on the shelf. You'll be the king of everything. One is never too old to swing. Let me tell you about my mom and pop. They do the boogie woogie round the clock. They turn the radio way low down so the neighbors won't hear them going to town. Get in the groove and send yourself. If you gotta worry, put it on the shelf. You'll be the king of everything. One is never too old to swing. One is never too old to swing. One is never too old to swing. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Wayne. You know, I found that song. I sent it to Wayne. I said, can you do this? I know he would say yes. And I saw a bunch of heads nodding, and that was exactly what I wanted. Thank you so much. So everybody, happy to be with you, of course. You know the expression, she's no spring chicken. I always thought that was cute. And I am no spring chicken. And I am so relieved to not be a spring chicken anymore because it was exhausting. There was a lot of primping because I was a cute spring chicken. And more than that, there was tons of stress and planning and strategizing and preparation. All these questions, all these worries. Was my career decision the right one? Was my relationship choice the right one? Was I making the right step forward, the right choice on this fork in the road. Was it the right one or was it a misstep? Always wondering, always fretting. It's just so nice to be where I am now, where life is just whatever I have made it to be. And in many ways, it's not what I planned, but it doesn't matter. I like what it is. If this was the divine plan, I have no argument. It's really great knowing that mathematically speaking, most of my missteps are behind me. Can I get an amen on that? Yeah. These days, life is just what I have made it, and I am enjoying the autumn of my years. The title of my talk today is When a Spring Chicken Becomes the Autumn Kind. Spring chickens, they're terrific. They are all about newness and potential, the potential that lies ahead. Autumn chickens, we are the ones with more time in the rearview mirror than up ahead. But life isn't just about the timeline. Life is about meaning. James Baldwin, who has so much to teach us, he lived to be 63 years old, which is the age that I am now. Shortly before he died, he said, "I pray that I will have done my work when I've gone from here." And I think we would all agree that he lived a richly meaningful and impactful life. I've always felt that one of the saddest things is a missed opportunity. And when it comes to meaning, a full life can be lived in a decade or even a year, or it could be squandered in a century. I heard something from a guy named Chip Conley, and you might not know the name. He is one of the guys, one of the business tycoons who turned Airbnb into a small, from a small company into the major behemoth that we are all familiar with. Well, after making his name in that field, he left that field and now he leads something totally different called the Modern Elder Academy, which focuses on how we as a society view aging and how aging people can get the most out of the later chapters of their lives. And the Modern Elder Academy offers retreats led by Richard Rohr, Anne Lamott, Krista Tippett, and others. And this is very intentional name dropping to make the point that aging is an important topic and it's getting the attention that it deserves. We all know of a brain trust as a group of experts that come out of industry or research or academics, but I am coining a new term, a wisdom trust, and I think it's us. We older folks who have been intentional, thoughtful, introspective, and we older folks are the stewards of the wisdom that can only come through years of mindful living. And aging isn't just for older folks. Everybody does it. The first time I was told that I looked good for my age, I was 23 years old. I guess I looked 22. And when I turned 30, I was so relieved to not be a kid anymore. And my twin sister, Judith, and I discovered that we had both been telling people we were 30 for 6 months already. We were both just so excited to turn 30. That's the age that I think is so funny because that's the age when people are still young, but they start to really feel old already. And then 40, I remember 40. That was fun. I had a fun 40th birthday, another big milestone. 50 was really fun because my two sisters and I got together. And since Judith and I were collectively now having spent combined 100 years on the planet, I called it our twintennial. And then turning 60 a few years ago, that was truly exciting. Finally, I was 60. Not everybody makes it to 60. And among those who do, not everybody appreciates it. And frankly, I don't get it. And maybe it's my Korean heritage that's part of why I feel this way. Here's an illustration. In February of 1996, my sisters and I got together in Scottsdale, Arizona, from our various corners of the continent to celebrate our mother's 60th birthday. Of course, we brought presents. And of course, we had lots of food and laughter. Much of it my mother didn't get. That's always been the case. But we also did something that we don't typically do on birthdays. We actually booked a professional photographer studio and went and had formal portraits taken. We made a big deal about her turning 60. Why? Why would we do this? I'll tell you why. According to an ancient Korean tradition, oh, Chick is nodding his head. Maybe he knows. He knows all stuff Korean. When a baby girl is born, until the age of 20, she will answer to her father. From the age of 20 to 40, she will answer to her husband. And then when she's an old woman, from the age of 40 to 60, she will answer to her son. But once she makes it to 60, if she makes it to 60, she will finally get to answer to herself. She can do what she wants. So we celebrated this milestone with our mother, all the while actually celebrating that we know our mother. We know that she has never answered to anybody. She has always done exactly what she wanted. And that's what we were actually celebrating. So, according to this old tradition, at age 60, a woman has arrived. And so we celebrate. Now, before you start hating on Korea, here's another story. In 1984, we took a family trip to the little village of Chinsan, where my mother grew up. This is about 50 miles south of Seoul. Our grandmother was still living in the house where my mother grew up. She was about 80 years old, very bright, but mostly bedridden due to a stroke. One morning while we were there, a couple young men from the village came to visit. They brought with them a jug of orange juice because you would never show up empty-handed. That would be unthinkable. This was not a special occasion. This was just a regular day. And they were there simply to pay their respects to this elder woman in the village. That was just a normal thing to do. And my wise old grandmother was completely comfortable playing her role. They sat there at her bedside, nodding respectfully as she spoke. She was completely at ease receiving these guests who had come to honor her. And I'm going to show you a picture from that trip. So that's my mom up top. I'm the one in the light blue sweater. That's my twin sister, Judith, in the middle. And of course, my wise old grandmother, Hyun Sun Kim is her name. Koreans have a strong tradition of honoring their elders. On a couple occasions, my mom has told me that there was something about me that reminds her of her own mom. And I think that those have been the most loving things my mom has ever said to me. I feel pretty comfortable growing old, especially when I think about my grandmother. Because, you know, I have it too. Times when I look in the mirror and the person I expect to see is the person I used to see 25 years ago. And then I see myself. And then I, for a minute, think, wait a sec. But then if I picture my grandmother and I think, oh, but I'm growing into her, then I'm okay. Then I'm like, oh, that's okay. That's okay. Speaking of our wise women, I found an essay from E.J. Niles, the Unity minister and longtime friend of this community. After recovering from an illness, and this was an essay about aging, by the way. And after recovering from an illness at the age of 81, she reflected, I had no fear of death. I did, however, often think and say that I wanted to make sure I had done what I believed I had been called to do, my reason and purpose. Like James Baldwin, Reverend Niles expressed a longing not for longevity, but for purpose. And Maya Angelou said something that I read long ago and underlined because it was in the foreword to Eric Butterworth's, what is the book that we're reading for Foundations of Unity? The Power Within You.
Discover the Power Within You.
Power Within You. And I was reading it again for Reverend Vernell's class. This was quoted in that foreword. Live your life so that you will not leave too many things undone. And that's true whether you get to live 20 years, or if you're blessed like I am to get to live 63 so far, or if you get to live 100, whatever it is, live your life so that you will not leave too many things undone. That's just got to be the goal. Getting stuff done. But my bigger worry isn't that I would lack the time, but that I would lack the gumption. Okay, you all, many of you know me pretty well. And this is the truth about me, Karen Gray. That my fear is that I would chicken out, that I would leave the work to somebody else who I'm afraid is more qualified. So I'm going to play small and think, well, somebody else can do it. And that would be a sad legacy. And that's what I'm here to talk about. Let's not let that be our legacy, that we let someone else do it, somebody more qualified. And I'm going to tell you about a time that I lacked the gumption to do what was mine to do. Okay, see, I'm doing a lot of looking back, right? This is what you get to do when you become an autumn chicken. You can reflect. Okay. And if you're a minister, you get to reflect out loud. All right. In 1998, I became a professional singer by accident. Through a series of chance encounters, I joined a jazz and swing wedding band. And if we are ever trapped on an elevator, I will tell you the story. But for now, I'll just call it a series of chance encounters. I joined a jazz and swing wedding band, and I assure you, I would not have had the confidence to go out and make that happen. God put me there. And for the first year, I started every gig with a silent prayer. Dear God, let me do right by the band. Within a year or two, I started getting my own gigs out on the town, restaurants and that kind of thing. And I regularly sang with a terrific guitarist. Okay, let's call him Steve because that's his name. Singing with Steve, I constantly felt inadequate. I never thought I was a good singer because I could only see myself in comparison to his obvious talent and years of dedication. One night, he invited a much less accomplished guitar player. This is the kind of person I like to refer to as a guitar owner. He invited him to come and sit in on the gig. And he said, hey, Karen, you don't mind if this guy comes and plays a couple tunes, right? All right. So Steve stepped off the bandstand, and now I was going to sing with this other guy. Well, this guy was so bad. He couldn't keep time. Did he even know the song that he called? He sounded terrible. And Steve is standing off to the side there watching me like, oh, yeah, sorry about that. So what was I to do? I stood there at the microphone, and I took charge to salvage the musical moment. I totally covered for him. I made the music happen. And I realized two things. Number one, Steve had some kind of chutzpah to invite this not ready for primetime player on what was my gig, not his. And number two, I totally had the chops to do this. I had some musical talent and know-how, but I wasn't noticing my own skills because I was too busy admiring his. This was my gig, but I was acting like a student teacher in the classroom, just shadowing the professional. I wasn't doing anybody any favors. I'm telling you this story because I know we have all doubted ourselves when we are busy admiring somebody else's talent, confidence, credential, experience, something. And when we feel that way, maybe we don't show up with what we really have to offer. I'm going to pause a minute and let you reflect for a minute on when and where you might have done that. And just in case, if you might be doing that still. All right, don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself, okay? Because the point here is, how would we avoid it? And if we're doing it now, how do we fix it? We have to believe in ourselves, and we have to believe in the power and the authority that put us where we are in the first place. After all, I had been hired for that gig, and they hadn't fired me yet. Matter of fact, that was like year 2 in the gig, and I am now in year 25 on that gig. So, it wasn't anybody else keeping that gig alive. Let's reflect for a minute on who we are. Being the intentional and spiritual people that we are, we may use prayers and affirmations to prepare ourselves for our roles in life. Like one in particular that is familiar to many of us and has been a favorite of mine for a long time. It goes like this: 4 lines. Put me where you want me to be. Show me what you want me to see. Tell me what you want me to know. Make me who you want me to be. Okay. I have liked that for a long time. You might like that too. And if so, I'm sorry. If you're listening, I might break your heart right now. All right. But anyway, here goes. It's nice, right? It came from Lafayette's Little Book of Affirmations. Recently, after saying that affirmation with the put me where you want me to be and so on, I paused and I heard a still small voice say, yeah, I've been doing that for a while now. And I thought, oh my gosh, that beloved affirmation is actually a prayer. And not just any prayer, but a prayer of supplication, because that's what it is. When you're praying and asking for something, I can call it an affirmation all I want, but that doesn't give it the energy of affirmative prayer. And affirmative prayer is what we teach and practice here in Unity, and that is the prayer through which we affirm our oneness with all divinity and with the one presence. But if I'm praying, put me where you want me to be, whom am I addressing? It seems like I am subjugating myself to some external will, benevolent though it may be. And I don't want to do that. Recently, I have taken to beginning my prayer time a lot like the way Sandy opened up her prayer, the centering prayer she gave us this morning, which I absolutely loved. Wow, Sandy. I begin my prayer time with a moment of remembering who I am. It's an invocation to myself. It often takes the form of 3 quiet breaths. Time to remind myself that I am not separate, that while I love my human experience, I am fully one with and part of the divine allness. And that connection is unbreakable. And it is from the consciousness of that oneness that I want to go into prayer. And thank you for taking us into that and through that absolutely beautifully, Sandy. Unity's first basic principle: there is one presence and one power. There is more to it than that, but you know what? Too many words sometimes doesn't help. One presence, one power. If I'm learning it, and I think I am, then I know that there's not me over here praying and God over there receiving my prayer. So what am I talking about with put me where you want me to be? Make me who you want me to be. It seemed solid for a while, but truthfully, if I'm being drawn into being somewhere or being someone, it must be by the power that is love, the power that is life, not by a personality that wants something of me. Wow, you get the difference? So see, another reason I like getting older is because clearly I am a slow learner and I need this extra time. All these years with these teachings, and it still breaks through to me like a brand new aha moment. Thank you for letting me share it with you. So to be clear, nobody was putting me where they wanted me to be. It was more like I was where my purpose was to be fulfilled. Whether it was on the gig, or the day that I found my little house here, or the day that I walked into this very Unity Church that day in March of 2003. You know, it wasn't the day someone wanted me to be somewhere. It's divine order, not the kind workings of some kindly personality that I have been appealing to in my prayers. So I'm sharing this moments of whoops and oh yeah, because I know I'm not the only one. And I know this is very important. It's foundational. And we don't have, when we don't have the courage and the confidence to do what's ours to do, it's basically because we don't know who we are. And we can't know who we are without getting it from the truth. And with that in mind, I want to invite you to feel and experience the difference between two versions of that prayer. All right, so here's the original. Beloved, though it may be, I have explained its limitations. Here we go. Put me where you want me to be. Show me what you want me to see. Tell me what you want me to know. Make me who you want me to be. Right? It's nice as these things go. Now you know how I feel. And then, okay, it could be a lot better than this, but I have begun the process of trying to rewrite it. But I really want you to rewrite it. If what I'm saying to you is kind of working for you and you like this original, but what I'm saying is working for you, then rewrite it. Here's my first stab at it. I am where I am meant to be at this moment. It's an I am statement, right? I open my eyes to see what I am meant to see. My consciousness opens to know what I am meant to know. I am who I am meant to be. These are I am statements, right? And then finally, I am the fulfillment of divine purpose. The goal is to write from a perspective of being one with divine, and to write statements really, really not to affirm what someone else has written, but to have statements of affirmation that feel true and empowering to you. Obviously, being an autumn chicken is no guarantee of wisdom in every situation. That's okay. We don't give up the right to be clueless sometimes. Thank goodness, or none of us would want to become wise, because that right to be clueless is really precious. And we've all had our socks knocked off by the wisdom of children. So we know there's not a one-to-one correlation of age and wisdom, you know? It's cyclical. It goes back and forth. And many of us who were fortunate enough to be in this community on Sunday, February 22nd, when we heard from Reverend Roy Berkowitz, we heard him promise us some wisdom upon future reflection when he said, the first 74 years of childhood are always the hardest. I'll come back next year when I'm 75. It's just, that's the beautiful thing. It's just ongoing, circular, cyclical. It just keeps on giving. but we get more opportunities as time goes by. And when we open to and affirm guidance, let's remember to expect it and accept it, because that's another thing that was going on. Not only was I praying to an external source, I wasn't listening for an answer. It's like I was saying the same thing again and again. It's like I was putting my prayer, writing it down, rolling it up, putting it in a bottle, and then throwing it out to the ocean. Like, we'll see. Saying the same thing again and again and again. Like I didn't know if I should expect anything. Anyway, so don't do that. Let's not do that. But expect it. And then having received it, because we know we're gonna, then let's remember to own it and share it. Because the thing is, there might be some young folks showing up with a jug of orange juice, waiting to hear what you've got to say. Or it might look different, but know that you've got it. Whether you reach a peak moment of wisdom, look, my daughter has reached some of those since she was 10. Sometimes people reach them when they're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Like they come and they go, right? Grab it. It's there. It's yours. But know this, it's your gig. It's your gig. You have arrived. Being an autumn chicken is actually a job. It is your responsibility. You have got what it takes. People need to hear what you have to say. You are building your legacy. And it's beautiful. Let's do a little meditating. Jan will bring up the slides with the words. I'll sing along. You can sing along while I'm mute. We'll do this all together. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. In quiet, in stillness, we affirm it is a joy and a blessing and a true abundance to know myself as one with the One. In the stillness, the apparent boundaries of my being dissolve and blend into the fullness of all being. And I know myself as just like a drop in the ocean. And I know myself as just like a single breath in the full atmosphere. Unique, important, but not separate. And as this unique expression that I am, I rise up again and again to recognize and claim my place in the infinite and glorious expression of all that is. More and more with each passing day and each passing year, I am where I am meant to be. I open my eyes to see what I am meant to see. My consciousness opens to know what I am meant to know. I become and I am who I am meant to be in this moment. And I am the fulfillment of divine purpose. And now maintaining a thread of this awareness, I return my gaze to this outer moment, this place and time. I close this time of meditation, keeping with me whatever gifts and growth support me and move me forward. And so it is. And my beloved friends, I have asked Wayne to prepare a very special song for our final special music. Take it away, Wayne.
One night Farmer Brown was taking the airs, locked up the barnyard with the greatest of care. Down in the hen house something stirred when he shouted, "Who's there?" This is what he heard: "Ain't nobody here but us chickens. Ain't nobody here at all. So quiet yourself and stop that fuss. Ain't nobody here but us. We chickens trying to sleep and you bust in and hobble, 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 hobble with your chin. Ain't nobody here but us chickens. Ain't nobody here at all. You're stomping around and shaking the ground. You're kicking up an awful fuss. We chickens trying to sleep and you bust in and hobble, 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 hobble. It's a sin. Tomorrow is a busy day. We got things to do, we got eggs to lay. We got ground to dig and worms to scratch. Takes a lot of setting chicks to hatch. Ain't nobody here but us chickens. Ain't nobody here at all. So quiet yourself and stop that fuss. Making up an awful fuss. Kindly point that gun another way and hobble, 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 hit the hay. Well, tomorrow is a busy day. We got things to do, we got eggs to lay. Dirt to dig and worms to scratch. Takes a lot of checking in since they hatch. Ain't nobody here but us chickens. Ain't nobody here at all. So quiet yourself, stop that fuss. Ain't nobody here but us. Kindly point that gun another way and hobble, hobble, hobble off and hit the hay. Hey, boss man, what you say? It's easy pickings, ain't nobody here but us chickens.
My closing prayer as we prepare to carry these ideas into our lives. We give thanks for the awareness that later years are not an ending, but an arrival. We release old beliefs that say we're past our prime, and we affirm a higher truth, that we are standing in the fullness of our experience, able to offer clarity, wisdom, and guidance to ourselves and to the world. May we walk from this space honoring the harvest within us, trusting the value of our stories, the strength of our insight, and the quiet authority earned through living. Let us move forward with grace, curiosity, and purpose, knowing that each day brings new meaning to be gathered, new truth to be expressed. With grateful hearts, we affirm this time, this truth, and this life. Amen. I'm going to speak this, and you all can speak it with me at home. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And that's the truth.